Imagine being just 2 years old and suddenly the world you know crumbles. That was his reality. Orphaned before he could even form full sentences, he was taken in by a foster mother, a stranger who became his lifeline. Growing up in a small village, he faced hardships most of us can barely imagine. At 12, when others were worrying about homework or playtime, he was climbing into trucks, learning to navigate machinery twice his size. Every sunrise meant another day of hard work, another day earning just enough to survive. But in those moments behind the grime and sweat there was a quiet resilience, a spark that said, "Maybe I can make it." He dreamed of more than just survival. He dreamed of freedom, of being able to steer his own life. And for a brief moment it seemed like he was on that path. But then, fate intervened in the cruelest way. War erupted, abrupt, merciless. He was behind the wheel, headed toward Gounder when violence swept through. His journey stopped, not by his own choice, but by the world's chaos. He was laid to rest near his parents, a boy who grew up too soon and left us far too early. His story could have been one of triumph, but instead it's a reminder of the dreams that flicker and fade, and the lives that end before they've truly begun. When I think of him, I don't just mourn what was lost, I wonder what we can do, so that no child's story is cut short by a world that forgets to care. In another corner of the world, not so far from where the boy's journey ended, lived a little girl named Lila. She once clung to a single treasure, a faded cloth doll, stitched together by her mother's careful hands. The doll was more than a toy, it was a memory, a comfort, a piece of home in a world that was falling apart. War arrived quietly at first, with whispers and worried glances. Then one morning everything changed. Lila's family was forced to flee, running through fields and shattered streets carrying nothing but hope and the broken doll pressed tightly to her chest. In the chaos she lost sight of her father. Days turned into weeks. Each night Lila would whisper stories to her doll, promising they'd see home again. Hunger gnawed at her and fear became a constant companion. Yet somehow Lila's spirit refused to break. She shared what little food she had with other children, her kindness a small light in endless darkness. One day, in a crowded refugee camp, Lila met a volunteer who noticed the doll and listened to her story. For the first time, someone saw not just another child of war, but a person, a soul holding fast to hope. Lila's journey is unfinished, she still waits, still dreams, still believes her family will be whole again. Her resilience is a quiet rebellion against a world that tried to steal her childhood. When we remember Lila, we remember that even in the deepest loss, hope can survive. Stitched together, fragile but unbroken. In a small village shadowed by distant gunfire, there lived a boy named Amir. His world was once filled with color. Walls covered in bright chalk drawings, fields of wild sunflowers, and the laughter of friends echoing down dusty lanes. Amir dreamed of becoming an artist. Each day he'd sketch sunflowers in his worn notebook, believing that one day his paintings would hang in galleries far beyond the hills of his home. But then the war crept closer. One by one the colors of Amir's world faded. His school closed, friends disappeared. The sunflower fields withered beneath the weight of tanks and fire. One night the sky erupted with noise. Amir's family fled, leaving behind the home where every wall was a canvas. In the chaos, Amir's notebook was lost, pages of dreams scattered to the wind. Now Amir sits in a cramped shelter staring at blank concrete walls. He draws sunflowers in the dust with his finger, only for them to be wiped away with every passing footstep. The world outside is gray, but inside Amir's memories bloom in secret. He remembers the warmth of sunlight on his face, the feel of chalk in his hand, the hope that art could change everything. War stole Amir's home, his friends, and his future as an artist. But it could not erase the beauty he carries within, the dreams that flicker on, fragile and bright, even in the darkest places. For every dream lost to conflict, there is a heart still longing for color, still painting sunflowers in the dust.